You think the Federal Reserve is American? Wait till you find out who really owns it. That's the line nobody wants you to hear. Because for more than 100 years, people have believed central banks are national institutions, controlled by governments, working for the people, protecting the financial system. But what if that's only the surface story? What if the real power sits behind closed doors, with a group most people don't even know exists? Today, I'm going to take you into a world almost nobody talks about. A world where money is not printed, it's controlled. A world where interest rates, crises, booms, and collapses are not accidents, they are tools. Tools that benefit a hidden class of super elites who influence central banks from the shadows. This is not a horror story. This is a think for yourself story, a journey into how power might really work if ordinary people aren't paying attention. Let's start with the big one, the Federal Reserve. Most people think it's a government institution because the word federal is right there in the name. But the truth is very different. The Fed is a hybrid system, part public, part private. And the private side, that's where today's story begins. Private banks hold what are called Federal Reserve shares. These shares can't be sold, can't be traded, and don't work like normal stock. But they give influence. They give access. And when you control access, especially in the financial world, you control decisions. Now imagine this idea stretched across the whole planet. Central banks in Europe, Asia, the Middle East, Africa, all connected by an invisible network of agreements, policies, and financial pipelines. Now imagine that behind this network sits a group so old, so wealthy, and so well connected that they don't need publicity. They don't need elections. They don't need applause. Their power comes from something far simpler: ownership of money itself. Every currency on earth is someone else's liability. Your dollar is the Fed's liability. Your bank balance is your bank's liability. Your loan interest goes to someone. Your late fees go to someone. Your inflation loss benefits someone. And when you follow the money long enough, it always points upward. Not sideways, not outward, but upward. So who sits at the top of this pyramid? That's where the story becomes blurry, because no official list exists. No government has ever published the names of people who influence central banks worldwide. But researchers, historians, and financial analysts have spent decades looking at patterns. And the patterns reveal one thing clearly: a tiny circle of ultra-powerful families, old banking dynasties, multinational corporations, and private financial institutions shape the global system far more than any president or prime minister ever could. Think about this. Presidents come and go. Governments rise and fall. Empires collapse. But the global financial network, it stays. Interest payments continue. Debt keeps growing. Money keeps flowing upward. Whoever built this system built it to survive politics, wars, economic crashes, even revolutions. But here's the shocking part. This group doesn't need to be a secret society in the Hollywood sense. They don't need black robes or underground meetings. Their meetings already exist, publicly, but people don't pay attention. There are international banking conferences, policy planning groups, economic councils, and global forums where central bankers meet the heads of the largest financial institutions on earth. Powerful people exchange ideas, make decisions, and coordinate strategies that shape the world economy. These meetings don't look evil. They look boring. But decisions made in those rooms can change the price of your food, your rent, your fuel, your loans, your savings, your entire life. And the crazy part, you don't get a vote. You don't even get to watch. You only feel the result. Now let's talk about why central banks are so powerful. They can create money out of thin air. They can raise or cut interest rates and instantly make millions of people richer or poorer. They can trigger recessions. They can stop recessions. They can rescue banks or let them fail. They can buy government debt, corporate debt, stocks, even foreign assets. All with the click of a button. Imagine giving one group, one tiny group, this kind of power. Imagine they can decide when money is cheap, when money is expensive, when economies grow, when economies slow, when banks win, and when ordinary people lose. If a group like that existed, it would be the most powerful group on earth. More powerful than armies, more powerful than presidents, more powerful than nations. So how did this system become so centralized? It didn't happen overnight. It happened step by step, crisis by crisis. Every financial crisis created more centralization. Every collapse gave those in power an opportunity to change rules. Every bailout connected large banks more tightly with central banks. And over a century, the global system shifted from free markets to controlled markets, from government-led to banker-influenced. Let me give you an example. When a country faces inflation, people blame the government, but the real decision makers are often central bankers. When a country faces a debt crisis, the rescue plan doesn't come from elected leaders. It comes from international financial institutions, bond markets, and agreements made behind closed doors. Ordinary people see only the symptoms: rising prices, job losses, weakening currency. But behind the scenes, a tiny group adjusts the financial engine of the planet. And here's the most mind-blowing idea. In a system like this, money itself becomes a weapon, a silent weapon, one you never see coming. Wars destroy cities. Money controls nations without firing a single bullet. If inflation rises, whole populations suffer. If interest rates jump, families lose homes. If currencies fall, people lose savings. All from decisions made by a few individuals in high-level financial circles. Now, before you start imagining some dark Illuminati around a table, here's the truth. Real global power doesn't look like movies. It looks like old families with centuries of wealth. It looks like multinational corporations that operate across borders. It looks like elite financial institutions that move trillions with a click. It looks like private banking networks that have existed longer than most countries. And it looks like central bankers, unelected, untouchable, unremovable, making decisions that affect billions. The scary part? You never see the owners. You never see the shareholders. You never see the networks connecting them. You only feel the consequences. Inflation, you feel it. Housing crisis, you feel it. Minimum wage frozen while corporate profits explode, you feel it. But the decision makers, they remain invisible. So here's the ultimate question. Is there truly a single secret group controlling all central banks? Or is it a self-reinforcing elite network, so powerful, so connected, so wealthy that it doesn't need to hide? You decide. Because power doesn't always look like a villain. Sometimes it looks like a boardroom. Sometimes it looks like a policy meeting. Sometimes it looks like a financial system designed so tightly that a few hands can steer the entire planet. And if that doesn't scare you, it should.